There are certain areas that I walk past that whenever I walk past, something comes to mind, something that occurred there, uh, even if it's a very long time ago, which in this case it is. Down there, I'm 3.3 decades old now. Back when I was about a decade old, this ditch, well, it used to be deeper. It looks like the ditch is really worn away, because dirt, the dirt down there used to be almost cliffs. Actually, they were cliffs, anywhere from about like 5 to 20 feet cliffs, and there was even a waterfall down here. But there were like 5 kids playing down here, and they had a rope and they were swinging into there was this big pond, and I was very familiar with this green belt too. In fact, I usually came down here before that to dig dams with my friends and or my brothers, and they were right in the spot where we'd come to dig dams. In fact, that's what we were here to do. The day that this occurred. So we started doing that, which was like right at the very end of this pond that the other people were jumping into, and they were like, "Hey, don't do that. Get out of here. This is our pond, or this is our ditch." And we were like, yeah, they were bigger than us and older. I think they were probably like in their teens, because they were very intimidating. I was intimidated, and I was just like, "Oh man, okay." And it was just me and my brother. And as I was walking out of here, I get about halfway up this hill, and I saw a boulder about the size of, a little bigger than the size of a head, about the size of a head. And I was kind of frustrated, and this is just something that I'd never do now because I'm like growing up. But then I was frustrated, and I was like, you know what, fuck those kids. I grabbed the boulder and I went walking up to the edge. I was gonna throw it into the water, into the middle, while no one was there, and they couldn't see me because it was a cliff on this side too, so they wouldn't be able to see me until I got right to the edge. And one of the kids came up because he was gonna jump off of the top up here, and he saw me, and I was probably about 10-15 feet from the edge, and he was like, "Hey guys, watch out, this guy's gonna drop a rock on one of you." And I was like, "Oh fuck." And I dropped the boulder, and I was like, "Richard, run." And he came running up this way, because our bikes were like laying on the grass like right here, and we came running up this hill, and I went looking over my shoulder, and they were coming up over the cliff edge. We probably had about, by the time they got up here, I was probably about 35-40 feet up the hill. And my brother was really young, and he was, if he wasn't further up the hill when this happened, when they all had red flags on us, then we would have been very hurt. I don't know what they would have done, but if they would have caught us. But so he ran up to, right when I said run, he came up to his bike. He got to his first, but he didn't have training wheels, and he needed my help. He was like, I think 7 at the time probably. He needed my help, and he got ready, he got on his bike, and he stood here. And I quickly pushed him really, really hard, and he got going this way. And by then they were about halfway up the hill, and they all had like at least one rock in their hand. I noticed when I looked down after that they had rocks. And I grabbed my bike right here, one of the kids threw a rock at me, and it hit, I think it would have hit me in the leg, but it hit the spokes. If my leg would have been, if my other leg would have been down and my other leg would have been up, I think it would have hit me in the ankle. But thank God my leg was on the other side of the spokes. And really quickly I got up and I rode off, and I saw a rock go whizzing about like this close to my face, just go right by my face, probably about a foot, and I was just like, oh man, like it kind of threw me off for the whole rest of the day, because I kept thinking, what would those kids have done if like if they would have hit me in the head and I would have fallen off the bike? Because it really seemed like maybe it was just me being threatened, but it really seemed like if had they would have came up to me with the rest of the rocks, even if I were knocked unconscious, and just started like pummeling me with the rocks. That's how it felt anyways. Maybe I was just a kid and like emotions are amplified, and that's hence the reason I picked up a boulder, and it came to mind to throw it in there, even though I wasn't intending on throwing it at one of them. I just wanted to scare them all, which probably wasn't too smart an idea either, because they just didn't like us right off the bat. They didn't like the idea that we came down there to build a dam, but what they didn't know is that the only reason that ravine, the water where the stream, it's just a stream, and then there's a round of water where it's extra deep, where we'd build the dams right here. The only reason that thing that they were jumping into was there was because of all the dam building with dirt that me and my friends did prior to that. And for a real long time I didn't come back down here again. So yeah, I just wanted to share that memory with maybe myself way later on, or others who might know me, or others who just felt like hearing a story.